Hi, this is Kathy Atkinson. We're here at the Garden Open House. I'm the owner of Mind, Body, and Soul, and we're just having a lot of fun here, having some good food. Even though I made it, I think it's really good. We've got some kefir cheese and some 3 different flavors of kefir cheese. We've got a kefir ranch dressing and some caprese and some fruit and some flavored waters. And just please help yourself and enjoy. And don't forget that at 8:30 I will have some special announcements for tonight. But this mini class is going to be on weight management. And weight management is one of those topics that almost everybody is concerned about. And I say weight management rather than weight loss because some people need to gain weight. Nowadays in our society, there's very few of those. But, you know, growing up, I was one of those kids that needed to gain weight. I could not break the 98-pound ceiling. I think I was in high school before I weighed more than 98 pounds. I remember being size 00. Not anymore, but but weight management is more than just losing weight. And so for those of you who are my clients, you probably know that I've recently completed certification as a nutritional therapy practitioner. Amazing 9-month course. Oh my gosh, so intense, but wonderful. And as a nutritional therapy practitioner, I've learned a whole new skill set that includes not only information on nutrition, but information on the functional evaluation and lingual neurotesting, and using reflex points on the body to determine where there's disharmony. And then we use nutrition and supplements to balance body chemistry, okay? Now, as the supplements are used short term, nobody wants to be on anything forever. The only thing that I'm probably always going to be on for the rest of my life is a multivitamin, and that's simply because food nowadays, soil nowadays is depleted of nutrients. In fact, there was a study of conventionally grown oranges in Florida, and they had no vitamin C. Conventional methods deplete soil of nutrients, whether they're even when they're using fertilizer, because certain fertilizers, like you'll have that, what is it, the 3 numbers, right? I don't remember what those 3 numbers are, but there's more than just those 3 numbers, those 3 nutrients in soil. And so when you're adding just those 3, you're creating an imbalance, okay? In fact, boron is one nutrient that's almost completely devoid in our soil, and that's because it's depleted when we use chemical fertilizers, okay? So anyway, as a nutritional therapist, we want to talk to you about using supplements to enhance while we work on diet to get the body to function the way it's supposed to function, okay? And when we look at weight management, what we're really looking at from a nutritional therapy perspective is weight management, or being overweight, is basically just a symptom of an imbalance in the body, right? If your body's balanced, it's going to naturally maintain a specific weight. It's going to tell you when it's hungry and when it needs to eat. You're going to feel satiated when you eat the right things, okay? So from a nutritional therapy perspective, if a client comes to me and they're interested in weight management, there are 5 areas that I'm going to look at. First, we're going to talk to them about properly prepared nutrient-dense diet. Okay, what's their diet look like? We're going to look at their protein. We're going to look at their carbs. We're going to look at fruits and vegetables. We're going to look at drinks. Because no matter what you do, if you're living on Twinkies and soda pop, you're not going to lose weight, right? And we want to make sure that your diet is nutrient dense and properly prepared. Because there are some foods that you can get, for example, grains, and if you don't prepare them properly, your body is not going to be able to assimilate the nutrients. The body needs the nutrients from the food. That's what we have food for, is to give our body nutrients. Those nutrients, those vitamins, those minerals, both macro and micronutrients, feed the cells of our body. Okay? And when the cells don't get the nutrients that they need, they go looking for other things. Okay? So first thing we're going to look at is nutrient-dense, properly prepared diet. Then we're going to look at digestion, because if you're not digesting your food, you could have the best diet in the world, and you're still not going to get the nutrients that you need because your body's not breaking it down. Most people have problems with digestion. And the primary reason for that is because of stress. When you're in stress, okay, you go into fight or flight. You go into a sympathetic mode. Okay? The parasympathetic mode is rest and digest. Stress takes you into that sympathetic mode when you want to be in parasympathetic mode. So when you're stressed, you're not going to digest the food. How many people are stressed? How many people eat while they're driving? How many people eat standing up? How many people eat while they're doing 10 different things in the house? They'll go grab a bite of sandwich, and then they'll go and take care of something, then they'll come back and they'll have a chip, and then they'll go and do something, and they'll come. Okay, how can your body digest when you're in that stress mode? Okay, so we're going to look at digestion. We're going to talk about digestion. Couple of other things that you want to think about is hydrochloric acid production, because when you're in stress, when you're in that sympathetic mode, you're not producing hydrochloric acid. And even though you're not producing hydrochloric acid, you might still get acid reflux. You might still get heartburn. And people are like, wait, that makes no sense, right? Or they might say, well, of course, I'm stressed, so I'm producing extra acid. No, that's not what happens. When you're in a sympathetic mode, when you're stressed and you're in a sympathetic mode, your body shuts down the production of hydrochloric acid. So how is it that if you have a decreased amount of hydrochloric acid that you can get acid reflux or heartburn? Well, the answer is quite simple when you understand anatomy and physiology. So when you consume food, it goes down the esophagus, goes through the lower esophageal sphincter into your stomach. Okay. Now, ideally, if you're in a parasympathetic mode, when you smell that food, you start to salivate, right? Your brain starts, and that salivation is triggered by the brain, which also triggers hydrochloric acid in the stomach to start being released, along with some other enzymes. Okay. If you're stressed, not only do you not salivate, but you don't release the hydrochloric acid in advance. Okay. Now, hydrochloric acid can also be triggered by expansion of the stomach. So when you eat, when food goes down there, okay, gets into the stomach, it goes to the lower esophageal sphincter, goes into the stomach, and it can release some hydrochloric acid. So ideally, it releases enough hydrochloric acid to mix with the pepsinogen to make pepsin. Or I could have that reversed. It mixes with the pepsin to make pepsinogen. I don't remember those two. I always get them confused. It mixes with one to make the other, and that's what breaks down the proteins, whether it's animal protein or meat protein, okay? So it goes in there, it mixes with the hydrochloric acid, and we start the digestive process. When it gets to a point that chyme the food has been digested, it's in a nice chyme, then it releases the pyloric sphincter to go into the duodenum. If it's not acidic enough, that pyloric sphincter does not want to release, so the food sits there and festers in the stomach. It goes rancid, it ferments, it putrefies, and then that lower esophageal sphincter will relax, and the food starts to go back up the other way. That's when you get acid reflux, because the chyme is not acidic enough to release that pyloric sphincter, okay? Now let's say that it gets acidic enough to release the pyloric sphincter. It goes into the duodenum. There are some receptors in that duodenum, that first part of the small intestine. One receptor there says, "Oh, it's acidic. It's reached a certain acidic level. We need to tell the pancreas to produce to release bicarbonate, so that it lowers the pH, so it doesn't burn the small intestine." Okay. It also says, oh, there's fat here. We need to release cholecystokinin so that the gallbladder can release some bile, and then it tells the pancreas to release another enzyme for digestion as well. Well, if it's not acidic enough to tell the pancreas to release the bicarbonate, then you get heartburn. Make sense? Okay. So what do people do when they have acid indigestion, they have acid reflux, or they have heartburn? They take Tums, or they take their own bicarbonate, which lowers the acidity of the stomach and further and amplifies that problem. And the sad thing is, most of the time when you go to the doctor and say, I have heartburn or I have acid indigestion, they're going to give you an acid inhibitor, right? A stomach acid inhibitor. Or they'll tell you to take they'll tell you to take Tums or whatever. That compounds the problem. Unless they do a test, and it's very simple to do, to test the acidity of your stomach. Unless they do that, you never know what you're taking and what's causing the problem. But most of the time, if you have acid indigestion, acid reflux, or heartburn, it's because the acidity of your stomach is too low, not because it's too high. So, simple solution, take a tablespoon or so of, if it were me, I would take a tablespoon or so of raw apple cider vinegar, put it in a glass of water, stir it up, and then drink it before each meal, okay? And also, I would focus on making sure that I'm sitting down and I'm relaxing while I'm eating. I'm not eating while I'm in the car. I'm not eating standing at the counter. I'm not eating as I'm running back and forth and taking care of 1,000 things. I'm going to sit down and relax, so that puts my body in a parasympathetic state so it can do what it's supposed to do. You can also go online, and there's you can just do a search for foods that support HCl production, and there's a couple of really good articles, okay? So again, why is that important for weight management? It's important because unless we're properly digesting our food, we're not going to get the nutrients that we need. So then we want to look also at blood sugar balance. When we don't have, when our blood sugar is not balanced, it's going to cause fat to store. We need to balance our blood sugar. Balancing blood sugar. Again, we look at stress, we look at the adrenals, we can look at thyroid as well, but we want to balance blood sugar. And as a nutritional therapy practitioner, if you come to me with problems where you want to address weight management, we'll talk about blood sugar balance. We'll also talk about mineral balance, which again goes back to digestion, because you need certain minerals to trigger certain functions and certain processes in the body, okay? So we'll look at mineral balance. Hydration. Oh my gosh, hydration is so important, because when you're hungry or when you're thirsty, many times you'll confuse that signal for thirst to be a signal for hunger. And every function of the body is a process of hydrolysis. So you need adequate hydration in order to maintain weight. Okay? So if you think that you're hungry, try drinking a glass of water first. And see and it's between meals, and you get this craving for something. Try drinking some water first, and then seeing if you still feel hungry or if that's taking care of it. Because many times when you think you're hungry, what you really are is thirsty. Okay. Another factor that affects weight management is toxins. Oh my gosh. When you ingest toxins, whether it's from the air, from your water, from your food, your body tries to process it. And part of the way it does that in protecting the body is to entrap it in fat. So whenever you have weight management, or whenever you go through a weight loss protocol and you start to release weight, you're also releasing toxins in your body. So you want to make sure you're getting that proper hydration to flush it out, along with maybe possibly some different things to do for detox, maybe adding some lemon to your water to help support the liver. Maybe there's some other herbs, maybe there's some other foods or supplements as well that we would talk about. Some self-help. We've talked about a couple of things so far for weight management. One of the things, other than water, is give up soda pop, please. Please, please, please. There are so many things about soda pop that are harmful to your body, not just for weight management. There's the phosphoric acid that flips your body into a sympathetic state, like a light switch. It just flips you right from healing and resting and digesting to fight or flight. Of course, there's the sugar. Then there's the chemicals that toxify your body. So giving up soda, and especially giving up diet soda, is going to be huge in weight management. Making sure you have sufficient fat intake, making sure that you're eating sufficient quantities of fat. I like to make sure I get at least a quarter of a cup of healthy fat a day. Now, most people are like, fat? If you eat fat, you're going to get fat. No, absolutely not. You don't get fat by eating fat. Every cell of your body, Every cell of your brain has a protein lipid membrane surrounding it. So every cell is composed of fats and proteins. You need to have healthy fat in your body. You need to have healthy fat to be satiated, because fat triggers satiety. So you feel full when you have fat. So there seems to be a misconception too, or misperception about what is a healthy fat. Well, first of all, vegetable oil is not a healthy fat, okay? Canola oil is not a healthy fat. Soy oil is definitely not a healthy fat. Healthy margarine, oh my gosh, no, margarine is not a healthy fat. And I think now most people have realized that, even though we went through a period of time where we kept being told that margarine was good for us, I think even scientists, even nutritionists are now coming on board saying, yeah, not so much. Butter, okay, butter is a healthy fat. Olive oil is a healthy fat. Coconut oil is a healthy fat. Lard, tallow, duck fat, especially primarily if they're pastured, meaning they eat on pasture, they eat on pasture grass, okay? Avocado is a healthy fat. Nuts, if they're cold pressed, nut oils are healthy fats. You want to make sure they don't go rancid, keep them in the refrigerator or something like that. But you need to have healthy fats for satiety, for just general health. So we've talked about water, we've talked about giving up soda, we've talked about healthy fats, exercise. Okay, now most people think that exercise means I have to go and pump iron, right? No, you don't have to do that. It can be a walk. Getting up and moving helps you maintain weight. And it does that because it helps bring balance to your body too, not just because of the calories expended, okay? I know that, you want to consume fewer calories than you expend, right, to lose weight. But walking, getting outside and doing some kind of movement and exercise brings balance in other ways as well, okay? So lots of things that we can do, lots of ways we can suggest. There's actually an article on my website, mindbodyandsoulonline.com. If you go to the blog, you can find part 1 of a 4-part article series of articles on weight management. Part 1 is weight management and foot zone therapy. And I'll be doing successive articles addressing weight management with other modalities that I do as well. But it doesn't have to be this. Just remember the foundations. Properly prepared, nutrient-dense, whole food diet, right? Adequate hydration, mineral balance, digestion. Did we say blood sugar balance? Okay, keep those in mind and work on those. If it's not real food, it's not going to support your body. You might go through a short-term time where you're going to lose some weight, but it's not going to be a long-term healthy option for you. Okay, so just stick with the foundations, and you'll be able to maintain a healthy weight because your body will be healthy. Does anybody have questions? Okay, well, thank you very much for listening. Remember, at 8:30, I'll have some special announcements. Okay, thank you.